You are listening to the Mary Jane Society podcast, where you will meet entrepreneurs, cultivators, scientists, doctors, and inventors in the cannabis industry.
I'm your host, Pam Schmiel, marketer and publicist in the cannabis industry. Today I interview Breanna Neff, the founder of Brelixi, a powdered THC drink mix that's leaning into the functional wellness trend and uses ingredients like adaptogens and nootropics. Breanna has a degree in food science and process engineering from Cornell University and formulated her drink mix made using hemp biomass, not synthetics, and sources from cultivators that are part of the Black Farmers Alliance in Georgia. Breanna is building a strong following on TikTok and in her New York community, and she's doing really well for her first year in business. Let's meet Breanna Neff. You giving us an overview of Brelixi, that would be great, just to everybody can understand your brand and product.
So Brelixi is a functional wellness drink mix company that provides fast-acting supplement powders and other instant drink mixes that helps to support your anxiety, your stress, also helps for relaxation, and offers a great alternative to alcohol. So I'm the founder and chief food scientist behind it. I intentionally crafted all the formulas to really help you easily integrate and conveniently integrate this type of wellness benefits into your everyday lifestyle.
Because I hear the word functional being kind of thrown around a lot in this industry. I feel like it's coming up, but is that like because of mushrooms, or are you just trying to say?
What I mean, first and foremost, what I mean by functional is better for you ingredients in general as like a bucket of ingredients to utilize. So those that give you functional benefits. Now, I break that down in different classes. There's electrolytes for hydration. There's nootropics, which are really good for cognitive support, focus, energy, alertness. There's adaptogens that's good for mind, body, stress. And that's what mushrooms fall under. They fall under that adaptogens class. So in terms of those functional ingredients, we have all of those. We have electrolytes, adaptogens, nootropics, and antioxidants to help with immunity support. So instead of, having, I call myself a functional beverage girly because I have on my kitchen counter, I have my magnesium supplement support powder next to my L-theanine support, next to my matcha, and I put it all together. And instead of, doing that, I created Brelixi, where it has just everything kind of together with the support with electrolytes is always great for cannabis. And then your option of CBD or THC, depending on the mood that you're trying to experience.
The THC is hemp-based, though, is that right? Or
yes, it's naturally hemp-derived THC. So it's just the same exact THC molecule that you find in are accustomed to. It's just not derived from marijuana. It's derived from hemp. Other forms and just other ways of destigmatizing cannabis in general is now hitting obviously the wellness market and the broader supplement market. So that's going to be. It's really great to kind of be in this industry at this time, I would say.
What is your plans? Are you planning future products to jump into the THC market eventually? Would you be seeking a license in New York or?
So I more so refer to ourselves as a functional wellness beverage versus like a cannabis beverage. And that being said is that I really enjoy being in the wellness market and, being able to, respond to those different type of needs. I love marijuana personally. I utilize it for my everyday regimen. That's why I created Brelixi for all the different benefits that it has. But I really do love the leniency of being nationwide and having that type of approach and distribution, especially being a small woman-owned business. So that being said, I always have my eye on that industry, but as it's so shaky and
right.
consistent, the behavior of OCM in New York, and that's where I'm based. So until I feel confident about, I would say, the regulatory body here, as a food scientist, I knows regulation and regulatory affairs. I would be hesitant to enter the market until it's kind of more settled out.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I think it's a great approach, and many people in the THC industry are moving back to hemp to build their brand awareness. I totally get it. And the New York market is such a mess, and now it's going to be even more of a mess because they've shaken up the whole department, and now they have to rehire and restructure, and yeah, it's a long way down the road. That's what I wanted to get down to, the science of creating powdered infused products. Is that a complicated process as far as maintaining the integrity of the cannabinoids and the terpenes and all that kind of stuff? And where do you manufacture?
Yeah, so where we manufacture is actually proprietary, just for like our competitors' sake and what have you. I could say it's in the Midwest though. We're not based in New York. We're headquartered here because I would say I live in New York, but I was really excited to see the opening of the industry here and wanted to be kind of a part of that wave. But we're based in the Midwest, which is really great for our distribution as well. And our manufacturing partners, they're also our suppliers and our distributors. And so it's very vertically integrated. And we're actually, as we expand, which is so great, to be part of this like growing business, is that as we're expanding, we have a partnership with the Black Hemp Farmer Alliance based in Georgia,
Oh,
who going to be, yeah, they're based in Georgia. They're a group of historic families that have been, raising this hemp crop for a long time. And they're basically,
love that. Oh, that
yes,
gave me
generation to
goosebumps.
generation. And they really help the community with local community gardens and education in that way. And so we really want to integrate them into our sourcing. And so we're going to be working not only our products, but also my manufacturing products who, they make their own CBD seltzers and CBD they co-pack for other brands.
Well, yeah, so that was another thing that I found interesting when we spoke before about your brand, is that you don't synthesize cannabinoids to create your infused products. So why did you choose to go that route? Because it seems like most people are, but I am hearing a few people that are doing it by biomass, but I mean, I'm not opposed to synthetics, because I'm just opposed to having synthetics out there in the hemp space that's not regulated. And I think that's what most people, have problems with. So how did you end up deciding to do that?
Well, I was really amazed by the nanotechnology. And once I was like just looking more into exactly that, like cannabinoid isolates that were water soluble and fast acting, that's how I got to my supplier. And so now we have a very strong, like an exclusive relationship where we're actually, because I'm a certified food scientist and process engineer, I work closely with them to, create vegan and plant-based emulsion mixes so that we basically can emulsify and put it into the different waters, and it basically solubilizes in a way that I prefer, and there's no oil sheen, and there's just really soluble. And so I was able to work with them to get specific emulsifiers in that way. And so it's our proprietary formula. But that being said, the process is really fantastic, and I wasn't particularly like strong on my conviction on like, okay, I want a hemp-based THC versus marijuana-based THC. I kind of just stumbled into the understanding that it was available and that it was more cost effective and that you had more, use cases with it and different, obviously distribution markets. And so I was like, why not? And then once I looked more into it, regulatory wise, this was back when we launched, in like 2022, and I was developing this, it just made a lot of sense to do the hemp base. And then I was doing CBD too. So might as well just be a hemp brand and distribute in the same networks. So that's how I wanted to start and launch, and to get my feet wet first and then to really understand the market in that way. But I'm really glad that I did, because it really enabled us to get a foothold in the wellness industry as well as cannabis. So our retailers were in over 30 nationwide, and we're in bathhouses and spas and hemp retailers, and also like local co-ops, and and on this supplement CBD aisle. So most of the retailers have CBD products only. And then of course we have dispensaries that carry both items and hemp retailers that carry both items. Obviously those clientele looking for THC items and things like that, cannabis stores. But then our online business has a lot of the THC sticks for sales, and that's like basically the market there, due to TikTok and a lot of viral videos, thank God, that have been driving traffic to the website and then thus customers. So it's been, I think, a great start and entry into both the cannabis and the wellness industry.
So then your THC versions, you're not doing like a D8 or D9 that are intoxicating. You're just, because you're not synthesizing, is that right? Is it just a low dose?
No, you absolutely get high, and that's where the confusion, lies, and that's where I definitely want to kind of, clarify for everyone here. And this is, I feel like the thing that I talk about probably on a daily basis
Yeah.
is the difference between the cannabinoids D8, 9, and 10, and their different synthetic conversion processes. So we are naturally extracted D9 THC. D9 THC it's just THC. I don't even want to say D9. It's THC. Everyone knows THC. It's that. Just happens to be the format is D9. Why we know D8 and D10 is because those are the synthetically converted cannabinoids. You take you take THC and you synthetically convert it to either D8 or either D10. So that's what you hear in the market, that there's these converted D8, D10 synthetic molecules that are on the market from the OG THC molecule, which is D9. So we are the OG THC molecule. We're just derived from hemp, not marijuana. So we're the same exact thing that you're used to when it comes to THC. So you're going to get the same exact cerebral experience. Ours is sativa because we're hemp. And so it's a head high, and it's very uplifting is kind of how I define it.
Oh, so the whole point is that you have to process more to get to the
Yes.
to the TH to the left.
THC.
Yeah, to get
Yeah.
the intoxication or whatever. Okay. But it's a byproduct of like hemp farmers,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like they're
It's like upcycling. It's like there's been so much CBD production that the THC, the other minor cannabinoids, have been lost in the sauce. They're not they weren't focused on. And so now with this whole hemp wave of THC, now the THC molecule is being focused on. And so it's basically like an upcycling of CBD production. That's what we're doing. We work with a co-packer that makes a bunch of products for their own line and for other brands and people. And so with that CBD production and all of the processing that they're doing, they have a lot of other cannabinoids at their disposal. And that's why until we're able to scale up in that way, are we able to get the amount that we need. And so that's why it's all about the volume game right now. We're too small to be doing the direct vertical sourcing that I want, but it's baked into our plans as we scale up.
synthetics versus,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
I hope it's getting, it has to be, the fact that just hemp THC is now becoming more and more in the market, it's bound to be understood more clearly soon, you know what I mean? So hopefully, as time progresses, education is more on the forefront as well.
I love it. I mean, I really do. I just love both paths that you're going with the hemp farmers, the black hemp farmers in Georgia, and integrating them into your product line, the biomass that you're producing. It's just all great stuff in your behind your product. So, well, I do want to ask also, what are your challenges in creating a powder form? Somewhere I was doing some research and read that there's challenges in keeping the beneficial, maybe the terpenes, that is for everyone anyway, or cannabinoids. Is there a technique or?
Well, I wouldn't call that a challenge. I mean, we have isolate. I don't have terpenes or any other cannabinoids in my powder. It's a CBD isolate, only CBD, and then it's THC isolate, only THC. That was very intentional on my behalf as the formulator and food scientist. I intentionally wanted just a, isolate benefit singular so that I can add it to my other array of better for you functional. So I'm pairing that with other things such as electrolytes for hydration, adaptogens for the stress control. We have L-theanine in there for the stress, and then the 5-HTP is a nootropic for a mood boosting effect, and then the antioxidants as well as kind of like immune boost support. So with all of that, I was kind of mimicking the entourage effect, let's say, of having an array of different effects that come all together in culmination when you experience the beverage. So being that I was very keen on having a clean tasting, water soluble, high experience with my THC product. That's what I was seeking for. And so the THC isolate did that for me. And so knowing that the cannabis plant has, has an array of benefits for you. And so when you experience THC or cannabis in general, you also get more than just the one cannabinoid. So I wanted to, I intentionally crafted the formula to have other benefits as well, so that you don't just feel the THC. It's kind of supplemented with other things altogether.
So let's talk about your community building and how you're marketing. You've only been in the marketplace for a year. How did you start? And I mean, you're doing really well, it seems like, for a year. Are you? I guess I should ask. It seems like you are for a
Yeah,
year.
I mean, yes, we're a bootstrapped, completely self-funded business, which is actually crazy. I feel like to be surviving over a year without funds. We're currently fundraising right now, which is really exciting for our, future projections and things. But that being said, because of our, lack of resources and limited bandwidth and everything, it's just, myself, my co-founder, my social media strategist. That's our only outgo is my social media strategist.
Okay.
And we
Okay.
intentionally did that. Yeah. So we don't spend any money on digital ads. We don't spend any money on paid advertisement. We don't do any of that. We just have a social strategy on TikTok, Instagram, and now we're actually discovering Twitter or X and YouTube. And that has been proven to work for us because, a few viral videos has landed us, tens of thousands of dollars within a few days from our online website sales.
Oh
And
my.
in our, year of being a company, we've, grossed over 6 figures in annual revenue. We have 3,000 email subscribers. This was all without a digital or paid advertisement presence on Meta. Meta is Facebook and Google. There's so much restrictions and a lot of headache and a lot of money you have to pump in to be successful there in terms of hemp. And you see people do it, they have a lot of money and that's dope. So I'm like learning that process, right? But you were just not at that stage yet. And so I've strategized to focus on social media, influencers, and just doing different things that you just have to listen to the Gen Z, like what their audience is, because it's obviously really targeting them. And then you hope for the algorithm to work, which it did for 4 videos of ours over since I would say August of last year, which has been really great and a steady business to our online business.
So
And
this
then
is TikTok you're
also
talking
offline events. Like,
for TikTok. This is TikTok you're talking.
yeah, yeah, check out our TikTok at Brelixi. We've had two organic, two of our own videos that we've created on our page that have gone kind of viral, like over 100,000 views. And then we've had 2 organic videos. One in August before we launched in May of last year. And so in August, I didn't even have a TikTok yet because I was focusing on actually getting into retailers and not my online website yet that much. It was just kind of there. And then an organic or like we had an organic viral TikTok and it just directed to Brelixi.com, not even a TikTok profile of ours, because this influencer just was found us at an in-person event in New York City and got just a sample stick of ours, not even like a real stick, like a lab sample stick to try. I was there to give, to actually do in-person tastings. They loved it, and they loved it so much that they took that stick home and made their own little mocktail and recorded it, and that went really viral. So that made me get a TikTok immediately, like the next day, to capture all those audiences to make sure that they were now following us. And then I needed to get a social media manager. And that's actually all at the time of me, getting her onboarded and then us focusing and re-strategizing on our online business. Because I've always launched to, Brelixi for it to be a self-sustaining D2C business with retail presence, but mostly like online, because the margins are also obviously the best. But I was focusing on first you need retail and store presence to be able to speak to it and to sell confidently before. So I wanted to do that immediately. And so honestly, within a month, I got 30 retailers.
Wow.
Just
Across the country?
I was lucky enough to go to CWCBE for free. And so we were in the women's pavilion. They wanted to showcase innovative women brands. And so we were able to
I
get
might
a
have
lot
seen
of,
you. Was that last year? Oh, I
yeah.
probably saw you last year. I went by. I love the women's pavilion. Yeah.
I was able to meet with retailers there, and then honestly just really hustling, going to networking events in the cannabis space. Really lucky to live in New York City because there is so much access to networking events, and I just met a lot of store owners. They're all opening, looking for innovative products, so we were able to get just to onboard them, I guess, pretty quickly. In New York, they like to hustle, so it was also pretty beneficial to do it in that way. And then once that was kind of set, I then focused on online and what that could look like. So the TikToks have been really fruitful, and the offline events, which is in-person events, again, really really thankful I live in New York City and have access to all these spaces and all these types of people to view my product. And I've heard from like a marketing like TED Talk one time where it's like, once you see a brand at least 3 times in your psyche, just the name, like a sticker even, you'll remember it in your brain somehow. Even if you don't even know how to speak to it, like you'll just photographically remember it. It's like embedded into your psyche. And so that really stuck with me. And so when we launched, it was in May, right before summer, and I was everywhere, like 1 to 2 events a week, doing pop-ups and just really being out there. I had my food scientist coat on, and really set that tone and presence. And I'm really happy I did, because it's still proven to be fruitful. People say like, oh, I saw you in the 420 park last year. I remember you.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of those together, I've seen come to a really great culmination, I would say, after like 6 months of really putting focus or energy into both of those areas. It's really come together in a synergistic way. Now, I actually went to an event last week where someone came up to me and was like, I just saw you on my TikTok.
Oh,
And I was like, and then she's like, now you're here in person. That's crazy. I'm so happy that I'm just like, I just saw
oh,
you. And
I think brands, the way they should market, and there is the big opportunity in the cannabis industry, is at these events and giving these samples out, because there's no other way to market to people. I mean,
and especially if you like the product and it works and you feel very appreciative of the person who gives it to you.
yes,
Um,
no, it's a whole thing. I keep, you know, I've really said this to brands: give those products away for now. That's your marketing dollars. You can't advertise in any other way, and it's a better way to advertise. But also, I wanted to ask you, like, if you're working with influencers, I hear a lot of, you know, pros and cons about that. Are you specifically seeking out influencers, or are you just talking about people on TikTok who happen to be influencers, helped make, you know, some of, you know, videos go viral? What do
um,
you think about influencers in the social media
I
world?
think it's a great approach. I was actually just reading about, do you know the canned soda called Poppy? They're like taking back soda. They're called the healthy soda. They had like this big Super Bowl ad. They're like competitors with Coca-Cola and Pepsi now. It's beautiful to see because it's woman-owned business. I just read their case study. They just had something was, some research article was out about them, and they spent I think they
Oh,
spent like $1 million in marketing, social influencer, marketing, and they returned like 200 million in revenue from their marketing endeavor. They completely dominated TikTok. They created their own hashtag called Poppy Partner, and everyone wanted, and they had these cute like merch where like it's just like a shirt like this where it says Poppy, and it's really nice made. It's like, it's just like, very high quality but simple. And they would give it to these influencers. They would wear it and drink Poppy, and that's it, and say like, I'm a Poppy partner. And everyone was just curious to watch these types of people, and they really did it very, very, very successfully. And so much so where it just instantly became viral and impressionable. You know what I mean? That's what
yeah,
influencers do. They influence.
yeah.
um yeah, and I've seen them in person in New York. I go to this food market called Smorgasburg often. It's near Prospect Park, so I live near there, so I get the chance to go there every weekend. And they were there last year doing just giving out free samples everywhere, like putting it in people's hands. They had a cute, huge, large vending thing that looked like a big poppy can. They just pulled out all these small poppy cans, and it was really cute. That being said, seeing how beneficial in-person sampling is,
Oh,
engaging with the customer, and then influencer marketing just proves itself with all of these bigger, models that have the money to pump it in. It's lucrative, and the ROI is huge. And so the more money you could put in, the more lucrative you can be with it.
uh,
It's all fortunately capitalism, right? But it
yeah.
works.
And what in each one of your packets, what for a dispensary, what would that be? 10 milligram or?
It's a 20 milligram stick for THC. And I intentionally did that to not miss out on the higher tolerance people. I hear often that, there's 2.5, 5 milligram drinks out there, even like one, and
Right.
people, I even read this comment. It was like, what is this? A drink for ants? It's like 2 milligrams THC. Is this a drink for ants?
Great for ants.
And so I'm a high tolerance consumer. And so I just thought, why not have 20 in here where it's a customizable drink? You don't have to use all the powder. It stores in your fridge for 7 days. You can, have half of it. 10 milligrams, I think, is a pretty standard dose that you see nowadays as well. and you could have save half for later. A lot of our customers do that, but then a lot of our customers also are high tolerance and they enjoy and actually buy the product because it's 20 milligrams.
So, okay, so I guess winding down, just great stuff. Like, what is your like ultimate vision, future plans? And then I want to touch base on your fundraising efforts. You're looking for investors, or are you running a crowdfunding campaign right now?
We're looking for investors, yeah, particularly angel investors and or funds that are focused on minority founders, queer Black women founders. I feel like those that are just aligned to our vision. And, you know, when you're asking for money, it's always great to just have people that understand you and where you're coming from and also your vision, right? And so I feel like those that are angels and interested in the wellness space, in the cannabis space, they're definitely our perfect types of investors. So yeah, we're actively looking right now. We have some soft committed. It's always a game with raising money because you have a bunch of soft committed waiting for a huge lead investor to come in. Once you have that person, then everyone bites. It's a whole game, song and dance.
Yeah.
So we're going down the journey. But it's been pretty good so far.
Okay.
And hoping to secure what we're looking for by September, actually.
That's pretty amazing in your first year that you're even getting bites. Obviously, from the numbers you're telling me, you're doing pretty well so far. So when you get this investment, what are your plans for the investment to grow?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really great to be revenue generating so early. You know, we have proof of market, proof of concept, we're revenue generating, we have orders daily, we have customers proven. So there's a lot of people, there's so many companies who ask for money without having revenue generated. So feel very confident in, you know, entering this round with that behind my back. But that being said, what we plan to do with the money is just straight up expansion, marketing, doing exactly like really knowing your target audience and who you're targeting. And so we've done through our year in our online website, we've done a lot of that data collection through our customers and TikTok and things like that. So we're very confident in that approach, which I'm really excited about, as well as like having more bandwidth for sales, having an actual sales team or at least a sales director that can have a lot of reps underneath that could really help us expand nationally, you know, like definitely need that nationwide presence, and the people really help with that, as well as yeah, just production and expanding that. So I want to dominate the supplement aisle. Brelixi CBD should be everywhere. Erewhon, Sprouts, Wegmans, Whole Foods. It should be a wellness solution added to your daily regimen. And obviously the THC, I believe, should belong in the alcohol, you know, as an alcohol alternative in those liquor distribution channels. Total Wines and More, for example, I feel like it's a great solution for.
Yeah. At the counter, what
exactly. So yeah, the counter, yeah, and I have these cute countertop displays, and that's exactly what I designed it for, where it's like, it doesn't have to exist in the beverage aisle, which it can though. It can just sit on one of those aisle hanging things and advertise itself right there and be like, hey, like we're easier to bring around, we're a back pocket buddy. And then it can also exist by the counter. So I have a plan for getting into retail as well as partnering with wellness focused spaces like all CBD luxury, all luxury hotels and resorts and spas that offer CBD services or wellness services in general should have Brelixi CBD integrated, as well as fitness studios, just other wellness type of boutiques. And yeah, a lot of expansion ideas there. And that takes inventory too, especially when you're thinking about like, you know, places like Target are talking about cannabis infused beverage. And so that's a whole grocery game. You need a lot of upfront inventory, just waiting there. And, you know, you don't get paid for like 3 weeks or 3 months, but you just kind of have to have that type of money, you know, cash flow there.
What is your expansion?
Sales and marketing, international expansion, and co-branding partnerships. So we're in discussions with all of that right now, and we intend to do that with or without funding very soon, by meaning in the next few quarters. Yeah.
You're gathering all your data on your target audience. Who are you finding your target audience is?
Yeah, so there's like 2 distinct consumers. There's a THC consumer and the CBD consumer for us. The THC both lends themselves to the health conscious types of people, but THC are the ones who are looking for a healthy alternative to smoking or as a alcohol alternative too. a lot of Gen Z are actively not consuming alcohol, and they want to feel social in some other type of way. And you can bring this into a bar and have just put it in water versus smoking at a bar, right? And so people really like it for that.
Yeah.
Also, traveling, convenience. You can't bring your J and on a plane. You can bring this. It's a supplement powder. It's hemp. This is legal to fly with. So in those different regards, we kind of capture that, THC community there, but also the sports community. People really like, there's like a community of THC like workout heads that really like it before or after their workout. It gets them motivated. People, you hear people smoking before or after, whatever. They runner's high. That's a whole thing. Also sports. So we're actually on Saturday pulling up to a basketball tournament to serve our elixirs there, because the electrolytes obviously are great, but with the THC, also CBD, depends on what you want, but a lot of consumers of THC like this type of format when they're working out before or after. So that's mostly our market there for our consumers there. For CBD, it's much more broad. We have seniors, we have parents that want to be more discreet with their, smoking behavior, let's say. We have college kids that are like, and really looking to focus and to de-stress, and really stay focused as well and like alert. That's what our CBD does. It's not groggy because it has nootropics in there. So it has like a small like amount of mind stimulation and focus, as well as all around body relaxation. So that pairs nicely. And also those who are canna curious. Our CBD is good for canna curious, which is interesting because I always just think that CBD is like, THC is like cannabis, and CBD is, it's non-psychoactive. But those that are interested in the world and don't want to particularly get high, they're more open to trying the CBD for the benefits of the plant versus THC. So that's basically the two different audiences.
I guess you have to be very sensitive to CBD. I mean, it's a high.
Well, I would tell you that the fast-acting CBD is extremely noticeable versus any other CBD format I've ever had. It's a light calming of relaxation. You get like a wave of relaxation, I think, because of how it hits and absorbs into your body versus like a slow migration of anti-stress when it happens in oil form or just a bigger oil droplet format. It's too usual for it to be noticeable. I still think it works. It's just like too slow onsetting, where when it kind of hits you in the instant nano emulsified way, I notice it. And I personally, and I know that I'm the founder, so I might have some bias, but I mean, I engage with my customers all the time with our activations, and I see it live. Within 5 minutes, people have a wave of just relaxation that kind of hits them, and they remark on it. Go to our testimonials, you could tell as well. So I would love to give you some samples to try. I really would. It's very noticeable too when you are not feeling well, you have some aches and pains, you have a headache, you're stressed. It's great for stress, personally for me, and also for my friends and clients. So
but anyway, so yeah, I'm so glad we finally got together, and I just love your project.